Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. My name is Julia and today I will be addressing workplace harassment in human service organization. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Kabi Kabi people. I pay respect to the elders past, present and emerging. In my presentation today, I will be addressing workplace harassment in human service organization, theoretical issues surrounding harassment in the organization as well, and providing a lived experience regarding workplace harassment. The Sex Discrimination Act 1984 prohibits harassment in the workplace by employees, co-workers, and other workplace participants, such as partners, commission agents, and contract workers. Sexual harassment is broadly defined as unwelcomed sexual conduct that a reasonable person would anticipate would offend, humiliate, or intimidate the person harassed. The Disability Discrimination Act 1992 prohibits harassment in the workplace based on or linked to a person's disability or the disability of an associate. Working in a social environment can have a negative and a positive impact on individuals within the workplace, particularly when serious incidents involving harassment occurs. Harassment is defined as an interpersonal behavior aimed to harm another. In simpler terminology, harassment is against the law according to the Australian Human Rights Commission. Any form of mistreatment of another person based on race, culture, sex and pregnancy, etc. There are different forms of harassment, with the extreme being homicide and physical assault, and other common types of harassment such as bullying, sexual harassment, conflict, abuse, dirty looks, threats, silent treatment, and yelling within different disciplines of human service organizations. Research and study states that harassment is significant due to the negative consequences. For instance, various forms of harassment has been studied to result in stress, low job satisfaction, and health complaints on individuals. In many instances, employees or individuals in human service organizations are required to decide in situations of harassment on how they choose to respond and end harassment, although individuals must intervene in a setting where harassment is occurring, which is required by law. Psychological harassment can fall under many categories, including bullying. Regardless of the different terminologies, researchers have concluded that the theories refer to systematic hostile acts, which are predominantly verbal or non-verbal instead of physical, but keeping in mind that psychological harassment can take part in different forms and contexts. There are certain behaviors that can be detected as harassment in the workplace or any environment involving individuals. These behaviors include telling insulting jokes about particular racial groups, sending explicit or sexual suggestive emails or text messages, displaying racially offensive pornographic posters or screensavers, making comments or traits about a person's disability, or asking intrusive questions about someone's personal life, including his or her sex life. The occurrence of harassment can be examined by two aspects of organizational culture, the first being social climate. A significant aspect of organizational culture is social climate because its focus is employee-oriented, which displays concerns for people, respect for workers, and focuses on the personal issues of the employees. According to research, workplace organizations that treat workers or individuals with respect, women reported less harassment. For example, sexual harassment is less tolerated in organizational cultures that prioritize strict rules and procedures such as dress code to prevent sexual harassment. The organizational theory can be elaborated by a range of organizational issues regarding power and status inequalities with the organization, increasing the chances of harassment occurring, according to the research. It argues that the organizational theory strongly believes that power does affect the likelihood of harassment taking place in the workplace. The theory states that there are individuals that are powerful and powerless, and the practice within the hierarchy should be expected and accepted. As a result, men are typically viewed in having more power than women. In saying that, harassment is perpetrated by men due to the inequalities between the genders, but can also be perpetrated by women that hold a position of power also. The organizational theory believes it isn't just the power difference, but also other factors which contribute to harassment in the workplace, such as organizational climate, ethics, norms, and policies of the organizations that may affect the chances of harassment happening in the workplace. In saying that, also the Australian Social Work Association have guidelines on there and for respect for persons, social justice and integrity for both the workers and the individuals, consumers. The previous organization I did placement at was a host setting. Social work was not the primary profession, but rather different disciplines working in the same setting, consisting of different values and perspectives. The organization that I was doing placement at was a public government organization. Therefore, different professions work together to achieve positive outcomes. Although I personally did not experience harassment in the human service organization, other people that were involved in that context did. The most common harassment experienced by individuals in that organization was bullying. Since it was a school, there was a lot of bullying happening, more on the psychological side, as explained earlier. But there was one incident of sexual harassment, an incident of an individual that believed they were being harassed as a student by an adult, which they came and approached me to, talk to me about, which in that situation, I had to take it up to my supervisor. And it was a situation where the teacher was hinting things and picking on that one student to do things alone, like, taking things to the shed or helping the teacher with something in class while everyone's gone off on lunch or something. So that was quite an experience, but it ended up being resolved. If you are someone who's experiencing harassment and you're wanting support, you can reach out to any of these agencies. Unless obviously if it's something like serious, immediate emergency, then you call 000. Just to conclude, harassment or any form of discrimination is not okay. It is illegal in Australia, and workplace harassment needs to be addressed. I believe that power contributes to harassment and discrimination because people have different social status, different powers, which can have an effect on that. Speak up if this is happening to you or someone you know and raise awareness. Thank you.